Am I the asshole for refusing to make a $120 cut of steak well done? So, we did a bit of an extravagant Friendsgiving this year as I lucked into a strip loin of A5 Wagyu for a price that was unorthodox levels of cheap. My friend works for a high-end meat distributor and received it as a gift. It was a tight-knit event with only 10 of us there. Mostly couples, including my friend who only started dating a girl within the last couple months. We had an array of dishes, but I was responsible for cooking the meat. Steak is about the closest thing I have to a religion, and I take it very seriously. The average steak for me takes about 4–5 hours to prepare and cook, from the sous vide to the cast iron to plate, though sometimes I take as much as 3–4 months butter aging or dry aging my meats to be certain that they are perfect. These were genuine A5, so I only sous vide them after cutting them into 2-inch steaks. There was pretty perfectly enough for one each, but I also made jerk chicken, mandarin duck breast, and a nice cut-off cherry jalapeno salmon. I had quite the spread. I sous vide them to medium rare to be sure the fat was well rendered, but informed them that if absolutely necessary, I'd bring them up to medium on request. Well, here comes the new girl to the group. She sees the first person cut into their steak and sees pink, and she is just mortified. Immediately she acts him of eating raw meat and stresses that the steak should be brown all the way through or else you'll get sick. I informed her that this wasn't the case and that these steaks were actually cooked to the ideal temperature for the cut. She immediately demanded that I cook hers till it was brown all the way through, and I firmly said, "Not a chance." She proceeded to get angry and yell that it was her steak and she should have it how she liked. I told her that there were plenty of other meats to choose from as well as a plethora of side dishes that she could have, but her steak was not being made well done in my house. She said, "Fucking asshole." Then she got up and started to stick the steak in the microwave. I shot up and grabbed it out of her hand first, at which point half of the steak fell onto the ground. My dogs quickly got to it, to which I said, "Well, at least it went to someone who wouldn't shit on a good steak." From there was definitely tension from that end of the table. They ate a little bit then hurriedly left. Since then, my longtime friend and his new girlfriend have blocked me on social media and my phone number. They've even gone so far as to block the rest of the people at the table and cut off all ties. Yesterday I received a PayPal invoice from my old friend for $25 that just said, "Pay for dry cleaning of her dress." I don't think anything actually spilled on her. I think it's just more drama, but as of now I'm ignoring it and, unfortunately, probably washing my hands clean of an old friend. Am I the asshole here? Edit. I should have stated that a menu was sent weeks in advance with the express point that if someone wanted their steak cooked to a higher temperature, I'd really go to the grocery store and get some USDA Prime for them. Eating with pretentious people is exhausting. She was a terrible guest and you were an obnoxious host. Don't get me wrong, I can't even eat meat above a medium rare temp. But when you choose to cook for someone, you don't get to dictate how they eat it. You're gifting them a dish and they can do how they will with it in the manner they enjoy it. The fact you'd rather have a dog eat the meat than the guest is pretty telling how inconsiderate and controlling of a host you are. You are the asshole assuming this is even real, because I can't fathom someone being this much of an asshole to their friends. You weren't the one eating the steak, she was. She can have it however she wants. The fact that you not only refused to cook it to her request but then grabbed it away from her when she attempted to cook it further herself, makes you a complete and total asshole in this situation. And the fact that you'll give $120 steak to a dog before you'll let a person eat it well done is just ridiculous. You are the asshole. Your job is to be a gracious host, not a pretentious asshole. You don't like well done meat? Fine, don't eat well done meat. But it's unbearably rude to deny a guest food because they won't eat it the way you like it. What, actually, is your issue? There are some people out there who have a problem with meat that isn't brown through and through. Why do you take it upon yourself to demand they eat it your way or not at all? It's like you forbidding someone to use salt, ketchup or mayonnaise on their fries because you think they need to be eaten pure. However, the way this lady acted was beyond rude, too. Which is why I feel very comfortable to call this what a nightmare dinner party. Obvious shitpost is obvious. OP's comments just before posting this, on an unpopular opinion post. We did that, or we downgrade your cut hard. You order Prime? You get Select. You clearly don't know steak anyway. And, as someone who worked as a chef in a high-end restaurant for several years, we refused to make any decent cut of steak well done. It may be your money, but it's our integrity, and the $29 an hour we were making as chefs was not worth our integrity. We denied Julia Roberts's request for a well-done cut of A5 Wagyu. We'll do it to you too. You are the asshole. I am with you, that it too good of a steak to cook well done. But once you served it to her, she became in charge of what happened to it. It was one thing to refuse to be the one to cook it well done. It was another to physically intervene when she went to microwave the steak. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my mother the money she spent on my son's hair? My 26M mom, 45M, got married to my now stepdad, 65, last Thursday. She asked me if my son, 3, could participate in her wedding and I said yes. For some context, my mother and I are white while my son is mixed with 4C hair. I'm not an expert in 4C hair. But before we had our son, my husband and his family taught me the essentials and basic. He told me that if the head hurts, it had to go. My mom said that she wanted to get her hair done alongside her bridesmaids and Mo, all her sisters, and asked us if my son could get his hair done too. I said yes, but that it had to be someone who knew how to manage my son's hair and to please stop if he showed some kind of big, as in moving, asking them to stop or saying it hurt, discomfort and try another hairstyle. She said okay. I didn't come with them because my mom only wanted the bridesmaids, Mo and my son with her, which was fine. I trusted my mom and my husband and I went to another hairstylist near their place to get my hair and nails done. We finish around 1:30 p.m. but my mom texts me and says that she's going to take another 2 hours because they haven't finished with my son. I say okay and go back home to finish the last things. The wedding was at 5 and around 4:15 my mom shows up with my son and rushed to another room. I ask my baby how it went and he starts to cry. He says that his head hurts and that the hairstylist pulled his hair. My mill checks his hair and says that his scalp is quite red and swelled, so between my mill, my fill, my husband and I undo his hair and my in-laws does another hairstyle that's much gentler to his scalp. He looked cute. I immediately go to my mom and asked if my son said something. She admits that he cried a little but they were already there, so she told him to suck it up. I told her that my son came to us crying and that his scalp was red. She tries to dismiss me, so I add that we undid his hair and now they're giving him another one. She gets mad because she spent $250 on a professional and demands that I pay them back, but I refused. Not the asshole. Your son is 3 and they literally tortured him. Not the asshole. She didn't pay a professional. If she had, your kid wouldn't have been in pain. After that, I would never trust her to be alone with my kid ever again. Not the asshole. I am sorry your son was hurt, but who on earth spends $250 on a hairstylist for a 3-year-old? She wanted his hair done, she can foot the bill. Not the asshole. She paid $250 for them to inflict pain on her infant grandchild for one event. Let her feel the pain of wasting a large sum of money due to her own selfish wants. She should be ashamed of herself. Not the asshole. You made her promise to step in if your son was in pain and she failed to do so. That's on her. If she doesn't owe you the basic decency of keeping your son safe, you certainly don't owe her a penny. Not the asshole. You're not paying $250 to hurt your child. Also, keep an eye out for signs of racism from your mother. It's worrying that the only person outside the bridal party she requested have their hair done was the little boy with afro texture hair. Not the asshole. You gave your mother specific instructions. Please stop if he showed some kind of big, as in moving, asking them to stop or saying it hurt, discomfort and try another hairstyle. She said okay. And yet, she admits that he cried a little but they were already there, so she told him to suck it up. I told her that my son came to us crying and that his scalp was red. She tries to dismiss me. This says it all. How she could treat a 3-year-old like that is beyond me. Not the asshole. Not only would I not be paying her back, but I would be informing her that she won't be left alone with him in the future because she can't be trusted with his well-being. Update. Am I the asshole for not wanting to change my name and asking fiancé to change hers? Original. Hello. My original post got so much more attention than I expected and I figured you all deserved an update. It was very rough for me to read literally thousands of messages calling me an asshole. I even lost my cool a little bit. Shout out to the mods for not perma-banning me for my tantrum, even though it would have been fair. But my wife and I read every comment together and discussed things thoroughly. I had not considered the patriarchal, historical angle of asking a woman to take a man's name and give up her own. It's just not something I'd been exposed to much. It turns out this was there, in the background, for my wife and was bothering her, but she wasn't fully aware of it, much less how to explain it to me. So it wasn't just about the paperwork, hassle of changing her name. She was also resisting because she felt weird about giving up her name. I had no idea that she felt that way and was glad some commenters gave her the language to actually talk about it with me. Part of our process in resolving this difference was to do 23andMe tests and build family trees. This ended up being really enjoyable, and we both found out some great family stories and tidbits from relatives. I highly recommend for other couples to do this too. We both feel much more connected to our personal histories and therefore our last names now. And it was very moving for me to link our trees together and gave me that sense of romantic connectedness I was seeking through the names. The end result? We got married 2 weeks ago without a legal name change. In the future, we are thinking of hyphenating our names. Maybe. Neither of us are pressed to do it immediately as we are basking in the newness of our marriage. Our kids will also have hyphenated names too if we are blessed with some. I am thrilled to be married to the love of my life even if we are not a matching Mr. and Mrs. for now. I would still like to be someday, but if we do, then the hassle of changing our names will be something we suffer through together instead of an unequal burden. Most of all, this experience has massively changed the way my wife and I approach our differences or conflicts together. We work through things slowly, gently, and without assumptions until we understand each other, and that has been the best thing to come out of this experience. So although I didn't expect to say it, thank you to everyone who called me an asshole a few months ago. My wife thanks you too. ETA. Thank you sincerely for all the well wishes for my marriage. Folded hands. My wife will read them all too, and we are grateful to anyone wishing us well. Good on you, Op. Learning how to have disagreements is an important skill for a long and happy marriage. Keep listening to and trying to understand each other and you'll do just fine. This is really wholesome, Op, and you two thought of a beautiful way to solve the issue. Thank you for the update. Some couples come up with their own new last name. JS, that's an option if y'all want something completely new. This is great, Op. Thanks for the update. I'm left scratching my head how you never thought about this issue in terms of gender and the patriarchy when you talking about being the only man in your op. I'm glad you were able to work through it, but it just goes to show how easy it is for someone in the majority, or with privilege, to ignore the effects of their wants, choices on those in the minority or without privilege. Hey Op, that's cool. And fun fact. My partner and I did the exact same thing. We couldn't agree on a joint name when we got married, so we kept our own names and kept on thinking about it. When our first was born, we had a solution. I dropped one half of my hyphenated name and added my partner's last name instead. My partner changed their name, and the baby got it too. Now we have a second, and all four of us have the same hyphenated name, and it's awesome. Congrats on the wedding, Op. It's great that you and your wife went through the comments together and were able to figure it out. Thank you so much for sharing this, Op. I did not read the original, and wow, it is really something to see the change that took place. Kudos to you for your thoughtfulness and congratulations on your healthy partnership and collaborative approach to problem solving. Am I the asshole for turning my stepson's playroom into an office without my fiancé's approval? Hello everyone. IF32 have been with my fiancé Kevin M37 for 3 years. I'm 4 months pregnant and have a stepson, Teddy, and he's 9 and we live at Kevin's house. I work and provide while Kevin's unemployed. I was recently given a different position at my company, so now I work from home, but the problem is that we have no office, only 3 rooms. Our bedroom plus Teddy's bedroom plus Teddy's playroom. I need private space to work, and I asked Kevin if I could use Teddy's playroom and he said no. I asked again and he said no means no even after I begged. Last week, I admittedly got fed up with TV noises while working in the living room and decided I was going to move Teddy's toys to his bedroom and turn the playroom into an office. I organized everything while Kevin was out, and when he came home he lost control of his nerves and had an argument with me about how I should have never done that. He told me I needed to understand that this is his house and every room in it belongs to him, and I should have never overstepped and taken Teddy's playroom and kicked him out like that. I agreed with few of his points. Yes, it's his house and his name's in the lease and no one can deny that. However, and to put it bluntly, I pay for everything around here. Water, electricity, other bills, and I handle renovations and more so. I filled that room with toys Teddy can play with. I'm fine with that. He's my son that I didn't give birth to, and Kevin knows how much I adore Teddy and willing to sacrifice for him, but kept yelling at me that I overstepped and was only making Teddy hate me, gradually starting by taking his playroom. His favorite part of the house. I argued with him deeper about it and told him I did this not out of malice but to work so I can continue to provide for the family since he's employed. Don't know how he managed to call that obvious financial abuse and control, and said that no decent future wife shows this amount of disrespect and inconsideration for her future husband's wishes and rules, and that hurt me because I've already tried to communicate my problems and he's just dismissing me completely. He demanded I put everything back, but I said sorry but no. He told me I have an attitude that doesn't look good for a stepmom, called me selfish and told me to go explain to Teddy how I have no problem stealing his room and refusing to give it back, and to not be surprised if he begins resenting me even if he agrees to let me have it. I understand Kevin has always been protective of his son and puts him first, which not many dads do, and he even said he chose me to be his partner based on how close I am to his son, but this issue basically caused a rift between us. I was prepared to blast you from the title, but hell no, not the asshole. Let's recap. Teddy has 2 rooms. Your man is unemployed. You pay for everything due to a job that you need a dedicated workspace for, and he's flipping out and dictating that you can't have one. Then, he's using Teddy as a weapon against you, and then he's pulling the my house bullshit while he leases it, and you pay all the bills? And you're the inconsiderate, selfish, financially abusive, controlling, terrible stepmother with no respect for her future husband? Did I get this right? Edit, and 4 MOS pregnant? Forgot to type that part. Not the asshole, but honestly, what are you doing with this man? You are supporting him and Teddy financially, taking care of the kid presumably as well, and you have a reasonable request, then your partner acts like this? You deserve better. Also, considering you only have 3 rooms and you're pregnant, wouldn't Teddy's playroom be converted into other purpose anyway? Not the asshole. You should get out now. Get your own place for you and baby. Where is the baby supposed to go in his house since all the rooms are already taken? Will Teddy hate the baby if he has to give up his playroom for them, since his logic was Teddy will hate you for taking it? He has you feeling guilty when you didn't do anything wrong. Not the asshole. This playing you against the stepson needs to end now. Also, where is the new baby supposed to sleep? Stuff be kept if stepson needs 2 spaces for only himself? Or will your fiancé try to make the step-son resent the newborn as well? Not the asshole. Do not marry this man. Stop paying for him. Use your money for your own place. If you stay with this man, you will look back on this moment and see it was when you should have left. The financial abuse and control. Here is this unemployed man who is living off you while demanding you submit to his every rule and whim. Run, girl. Not the asshole. So Kevin chose Teddy's over you and your job, and advancement at your job. You might look at that location flag a little more carefully. Why are you not important? Location flag. Girl, get the fuck out of that relationship. You're the breadwinner and the bill payer and can't even work in peace remotely? Leave him for 2 or 3 months to give him a reality check. Also, where is your new baby going to sleep eventually? Will he be able to share the room with Teddy, or do you need to get a larger house? Not the asshole. Give Teddy back his room. Give Kevin back engagement ring and his house. Move your stuff into another house and live happily ever after without an abusive ass for a husband. Problem solved.